मकानी हो या आज़ादे मका हो, जहाँ में हो या खुद सारा जहाँ हो. Am I confined into the four walls of my mind, or am I beyond all walls? Am I in the world, or is the world because of me? Today, there's development everywhere. There's infrastructure growing at a pace that was unprecedented. Markets are booming. And there is development as such in terms of GDP, and we also feel that there is development. But unfortunately, this development has also brought in a new problem. We have development, but we have many unhappy people. You find everywhere there is misery. So, then comes the question, is it that we have not been able to generate enough wealth? Or is it that we have not been able to distribute enough wealth? Or another question, is there a problem with the current development model that we have? Perhaps the answer is that there is a problem with the current development model, because today's development model primarily thinks of development only in terms of material gain, at the exclusion of emotions, at the exclusion of cultures, at the exclusion of ethics. And that is why what we have today is a cultural terrorism where many cultures are getting eroded. We have environmental terrorism where many ecosystems are collapsing. And we also have economic terrorism because many of the communities are not being included. And therefore, many management thinkers are now looking for solutions. And as an attempt to find solutions today, we have thinkers from across walks of life who have gathered here, and I'd like to request our guests to please come and take their seat on the dais so that we introduce you and we welcome you. May I request all our guests to please come onto the dais. I request Barak Granod sir. I request Dr. Jatinder Singh sir. I request Mr. R.K. Chaudhary sir. I request Mr. Ashish Jain, Mr. Ravinder Yadav, Ms. Lorraine Young, Mr. Peter Stahl, Mr. Sutanu Sinha, Founder Chairman Sir, Dr. Nandkishore Garg, and Chairman Sir, Mr. Prem Sagar Goel, to please come and take their place on the dais. It's my pleasure to introduce all the guests to all of you here. At the very outset, I'd like to introduce Mr. Sutanu Sinha. Mr. Sutanu Sinha is the former Chief Executive and Officiating Secretary of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Mr. Sinha was heading the Academics and Professional Development Directorate of ICSI. Sutanu Sinha is a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and also a member of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, London. He is also postgraduate in commerce from Calcutta University, and he stood first class first in the post-graduation diploma in German examination. He has over 27 years of professional experience in company secretarial and corporate functioning. He possesses a vast work experience in corporate planning, finance, international trade, and other allied areas in the course of his previous assignments in many multinational companies and public sectors. Besides his professional interest, he is an avid reader and a corporate analyst. He has contributed several papers and articles on different aspects of governance and management, and has addressed at various workshops, seminars, and conferences both in India and abroad. His areas of specialization includes corporate governance, sustainability, banking, and enterprise resource planning. Sir, it's an honor to have you with us today. A big round of applause, please. May I request Shri Prem Sagar Goel sir to please give a bouquet and welcome Mr. Sutanu Sinha sir. Please give a big round of applause. So it's a delight to have you here. A very hearty welcome to you, sir. Next, we have with us Mr. Barak Granoth, Head of Economic and Trade Mission at the Embassy of Israel, New Delhi. Mr. Barak Granoth has spent the last 15 years studying and working in the fields of politics, campaign management, and public relations. He, after having completing his education from the Hebrew University, Israel, joined an organization called as European Friends of Israel, based in Brussels, Belgium. Here, he has done exemplary work by generating massive support to Israel by bringing in a large gathering, more than 350 parliamentarians representing 42 countries in Europe to support Israel. After this success, he started working at the Israeli parliament as a media consultant and as a parliamentarian consultant. In March 2011, he joined the Israeli Ministry of Economy and has been working as the head of public relations and publicity ever since. At the Ministry of Economy, he has held various responsible positions and has been instrumental in managing the communication, campaign, advertising, and public affairs of the ministry. Sir, we are honored to have you here with us, and may I request Nand Kishore sir to please welcome you with a bouquet. So we extend a very warm welcome to you. Accompanying him is Mr. Vinod Mehta. And it is a delight to have Mr. Vinod Mehta with us. And may I request Ms. Sangeeta Malik ma'am to please give a floral bouquet and welcome him. Can we have Mr. Mehta? Sir is there. Can we have Ms. Sangeeta Malik ma'am to please extend a warm welcome? Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Rajendra Kumar Chaudhary, General Manager, Union Bank. Shri Rajendra Kumar Chaudhary has done his master's degree in commerce. He is a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. He has vast experience spanning more than 35 years in various facets of domestic operations of banking. Having joined the bank way back in 1979, presently he is working as the Field General Manager, Delhi, commanding the entire North India branches. Shri Chaudhary, prior to taking the reins of North India, was posted as a Field General Manager at Bank's Zonal Office, Kolkata, having jurisdiction over East and North-Eastern regions. Shri Chaudhary has widely traveled through the length and breadth of the country at various levels in the bank, and he is one of the most enthusiastic general managers of Union Bank of India. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us. And may I request Dr. Vinita Gupta ma'am to please present a bouquet to R.K. Chaudhary sir. Please give a round of applause, please. Sir, a very warm welcome to you. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ashish Jain. Ashish Jain is a management professional who started his career with Sahara India International Corporation Limited, where he served as the Assistant Manager International Business. He later joined FIEO Fraternity as an Assistant Director working in different departments and went to become the Deputy Director, Joint Director, and currently designated as the Post of Director and Head of FIEO International Division. In his 18 years of experience, he organized numerous training programs and capacity building workshops. He initiated various collaborations with domestic and international organizations for trade promotion. He has been instrumental in organizing over 30 international exhibitions annually all over the globe. He has traveled to more than 20 years in his adventurous and glittering career. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and may I request Bagriel sir to please come and present a bouquet as a token of welcome. Please give a hand, please. So a very hearty welcome to you. Now I'd like to welcome Mr. Ravinder Yadav, DGM Oriental Bank of Commerce. Shri Ravinder Yadav has completed his Masters of Science degree with professional qualification as a Certified Associate of Indian Banking. He has an experience of 3.5 decades in banking sector. He has been an exemplary student and has got scholarship throughout his life, and he has done commendably well in his career. He has in-depth knowledge in all the sectors of banking and has specialized in rural India banking. He's currently heading Delhi operations of Oriental Bank of Commerce and heads over 73 branches in Delhi. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and may I request Dr. Manju Gupta ma'am to please welcome you. A round of applause, please. So we are truly honored to have you with us. Accompanying him is Mr. Gaurav Tukral from Oriental Bank of Commerce. I request Mr. Gaurav Tukral to please come onto the dais, and I request Mr. Vivek Kuchal sir to please present a bouquet and welcome him. A round of applause, please. We have all the corporate leaders who have gathered here to discuss on this very important issue of corporate governance, and we are very, very privileged to have you here, sir. Amongst our guests, we also have people from different countries, and first and foremost among them is Miss Lorraine Young. She's a 30+ year veteran of the hospitality industry. Her background within the industry is all-encompassing, as she has attained extensive experience and skill in the event and hospitality industry at managerial levels. Lorraine is currently the managing director of 2 Delhi-based companies, Domo, which upskills domestic staff, giving them confidence and enhancing their future employment opportunities, and event management company called as Young Hospitech. Lorraine's experience encompasses working for major hotels and resorts in Australia, India, New Guinea, and many other countries. Lorraine has a successful track record across a broad spectrum of events with a proven ability to effectively manage complex projects to achieve strategic goals. She has managed special events and seminars, including the one in 1990 South Pacific Games held in New Guinea. Organized functions for royalty, foreign embassies, prime ministers, ministers, government departments, and corporate companies. Ma'am, it's an honor to have you with us today, and I'm sure our students are going to learn a lot from your experience. May I request Dr. Khurana sir to please come and give a bouquet. Please give a round of applause, please. Another representative from Australia is Mr. Peter Stahl. May I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Peter Stahl to all of you. Mr. Peter Stahl is the founder and managing director of Kookaburra Travels Limited. Mr. Peter Stahl started Kookaburra Travel with a desire to offer a cost-effective, quality vacation travel supports to travelers from all around the globe. With its head office in Delhi, Kookaburra is India's inbound travel solution company catering to the needs of the Indian subcontinent and Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and Maldives, and outbound specialists to Australia. He believes that travel to be the means of enriching one's knowledge and understanding of the whole world. And he believes that traveling is one of the best ways of broadening thoughts about life, enriching cultures, and stimulating minds. Besides Kookaburra, he is also an administrator of a non-profit organization called as Anziba, which primarily focuses building on relationship between three countries, among three countries, Australia, New Zealand, and India. Sir, it's an honor to have you with us, and may I request Dr. Vinita Gupta to please present a bouquet and welcome Mr. Peter Stahl. Sir, very, very warm welcome to you. Amongst us, we also have Brijesh Mathur. He is our sponsor. He is the founder and director of BMC Advisor. And sir, may I request T.R. Garg sir to please come and welcome Mr. Brijesh Mathur sir. Mr. Brijesh Mathur. May I request T.R. Garg sir to please come and present a bouquet and welcome Brijesh Mathur sir. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing our guest of honor, Dr. Jatinder Singh. Dr. Jatinder Singh has completed his PhD in management with 20 years of experience in human resource, education, and skill development initiatives. He is the HR head of PhD Chambers of Commerce and Industry, New Delhi. Additionally, he is heading the verticals on education, skill, development, CSR, and innovation. He is also the member of the Managing Committee of the Cluster Innovation Center, Technology Business Incubator of University of Delhi. Prior to this, he has also served as a former member of the governing body of Shaheed Bhagat Singh College, South Campus, University of Delhi, and has also been a member of the Technical Advisory Committee for Ministry of Science and Technology. He has also held various positions of leadership and responsibility in various ministries of center and state governments. He has presented more than 20 research papers in various national and international seminars and conferences, and has published 2 books towards career success from Adarsh Publication and Way to Success Step by Step by Sultan Chand Publication. And I would like to specially invite Dr. Jatinder Singh, because he is the one who has actually collaborated with us from PhD Chambers of Commerce and Ministry, and has been the force behind not only this conference but also the previous conference. I request Dr. N.K. Garg sir to please welcome Dr. Jatinder Singh. Sir, very, very warm welcome. Please give a big round of applause, because PhD Chambers has been our co-partners, collaborators for the entire conference. Now, the time to welcome our very own Dr. Nand Kishore Garg. Dr. Nand Kishore Garg, the founder chairman, Maharaja Agrawal Technical Education Society, has been an ex-MLA from Trinagar Assembly constituency in Delhi. Dr. Garg is recognized and known among the masses for his selfless efforts done for the upbringing of the society. He has been involved in various noble causes related to development and betterment of Delhi, as well as the adjoining states of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan. He was honored with the Best MLA Award for the term 1998 and 2003 by Delhi Assembly. He was the member of MCD from 1983 to 1989. He was a parliamentary secretary, successful politician, renowned social worker. Shri Garg is also actively engaged in the education of a field of education. He has received many awards and accolades for his contribution to education, social work, and politics. He has been honored with the D.Litt degree from one of the oldest universities of India, Gurukul University, Haridwar. This is a rare feat because there are very few politicians in the country who have been honored by the institute, and some of the stalwarts who have been honored include the names like Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Sir, it is your constant support that is the driving force behind this. Sir, very, very warm welcome to you, and may I request Professor M.K. Bhatt to please welcome N.K. Garg sir with a bouquet. A big round of applause, please. I'd also like to welcome Shri Prem Sagar Goyal sir, Chairman MATES. Prior to this, he has held the position of the Chief Patron of MATES and has been a constant source of support and guidance for all the endeavors at MAMES. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us. May I request Professor M.K. Bhatt sir to please welcome Shri Prem Sagar Goyal sir. A big round of applause, please. I'd also like to welcome T.R. Garg sir. I request Bhatt sir to please welcome T.R. Garg sir with a bouquet. Dr. Chandan Mitra, our chief guest, is stuck due to the procession of MCD workers, and we are soon expecting him. But before he joins us, let me also take the occasion to welcome all the trustees who have arrived here. And I would also like to welcome Professor M.K. Bhatt sir, who's an economist, columnist and an author of Reckoning. I request Dr. Manju Gupta ma'am to please come and welcome Professor Bhatt sir. A very warm welcome to the conference, sir. A very warm welcome to Mohan Garg sir. To make this international conference truly international, we have students from countries like Italy, Japan, Zambia, Kazakhstan and Zimbabwe. Can we have the students from these countries please come on to the dais? Do we have the students here? Can we have you please here on the dais? And a very, very warm welcome to the students who have come here. And I request Vinita ma'am to please present roses as a token of welcome. And before we proceed, a very, very big thank you to all the sponsors of the event, the media partner, the Pioneer, knowledge partner, the PhD Chamber, conference partner, FIEO. A very big thank you to all the sponsors. And before I request Dr. Bhatt sir to come and welcome or give a formal welcome to all of us here. I would also, definitely, I would like to welcome all the teachers here, my faculty friends, and all the students there. Of course, this is all for you, and a very, very big welcome to all of you. Please give yourselves a big applause. Today, when we are here to think about corporate governance, there's something interesting that I want to actually start, because we have students from various cultures, we have thinkers from various countries. So what is corporate governance, and what is the Indian perspective to it, and what is the Western perspective to it? If you look at the definition of corporate governance, the simplest definition says that corporate governance is a set of rules. It is a set of rules that is formulated for the greater good of all the stakeholders. So now, behind this definition, there is an assumption, there is a belief. And what is that belief? The belief is that if you follow rules, then you achieve good, right? And that is why you have set of rules to achieve the greater good. So from where does this philosophy that rules are good comes from? It is a very Western approach of finding solutions to problems, of organizing things. So for this, it actually, today's management knowledge a lot of it is drawn from the West. And one of the most influential books that has given a lot of knowledge to management is the Bible. So in Bible you have this faith that rules are good. So you have the story of God giving commandments to Moses. And on what does he give the commandments? There is a stone that is actually on which these commandments are actually written. So which is symbolic of the fact that rules are not negotiable. Rules cannot be changed. So in Bible you will always find stories that, including Moses, because he broke a commandment, even he was not allowed into the promised land. You also find stories of King David, because he broke commandments, he was not allowed into the paradise. So there is a lot of emphasis on rules. But look at the Indian perspective. You have two perspectives, one from Sri Ram, who actually upholds all the rules, and then next you have Sri Krishna, who breaks all the rules. Right? So now, what are we Indians trying to do? Is it that we don't respect the rules? Is this the Indian perspective? Or is there something else that these scriptures are trying to tell us? And this is where the Indian perspective comes. And what is the perspective? We say that yes, rules are important, but rules exist within a context. Right? In the context of Sri Ram, the rule and the spirit of rule, the letter of rule and the spirit of rule was one. So following rules would actually mean greater good. Whereas at the times of Sri Krishna, when times have changed, when the age has changed from Treta to Dwapara, it has become a darker age, the letter of the rule and the spirit of the rule are two different things. So, therefore, here in Indian perspective, rules is not about just the letter, it is the spirit of the rule, right? So therefore, you find that Krishna upholds the dharma, the principle, but breaks the laws, right? And that is why, interestingly, today we call this conference Sustainable Corporate Governance. Although there is corporate governance, which is the code of rules, which is all coded, which is all rules, but there's this interesting word sustainable, which brings a very Indian perspective to it. It says that sustainable meaning making these rules relevant and meaningful to different contexts and to different societies. And we have all the panelists, as I've already introduced you, to discuss on this issue. And I request M.K. Bhatt sir to please come and welcome, give a formal welcome address to all of us here. So.
A very good morning to everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome prominent people on this side of dais and lovely students on the other side. It has been my pleasure to come out with my views in public under the stewardship of our today's chief guest, Dr. Chandan Mitra. His newspaper Pioneer has always been there to come out with new things, and I had got the privilege. He's stuck, so we are waiting for him too. I feel highly honored to have our foreign guests here. First, I would like to say that Mr. Sumedha Poonam Premur, Minister from Sri Lanka, got engaged today in Digital India operation in Sri Lanka, so she could not come here, but she had conveyed her regret for not coming. I welcome her separate. I would also extend my welcome to Bharat Garnett, Dr. Jatinder Singh from Treasury Chamber, Satyanarayan Pathuri, Mr. Rishi Jain, Mr. Ravinder Yadav, Lauren Yang, Peter Stahl, and our own Mr. Sutanu Sinha. I would also like to say you that the inspiration behind all this is our chairman, founder chairman, Dr. Nand Kishore Garg. I extend my welcome to him. I would also like to extend welcome to Prem Sagar Goyal ji, Mr. T.R. Garg ji, our General Secretary, Mr. Mohan Garg ji, our Joint General Secretary, other delegates, and lovely students, both foreign as well as Indian. In my my predecessor had talked about rules, India and Western. Rules are rules, they are to be followed everywhere. Whether it's West, whether it's East, Sri Ram gave us the set of rules and proved through his experience in life that one can be a superhuman if he caters to the rules of life. Anyway, today we have got this conference on corporate governance. There has been a feeling of negative approach towards business in various countries of the world. This led to stress malpractices, deprivation, authoritarianism in these countries of the world. The failure of socialist regimes is a testimony to this fact. Suspecting every corporate can never lead to the growth of countries, and India too followed the same thinking pattern by putting undue restrictions on business in last 70 years. Of its independence, and the result is that our contribution to the world trade stands at much lower, despite having 1/6 of the world population. It is sometimes less than those countries which are not even bigger than Delhi. We are still striving with the basic facilities like drinking water, so and so forth. Our business people, intellectuals, prove themselves in alien lands, Silicon Valley, but they fail in their own country. There is no way, this in no way means that everything should be left to markets. Capitalist approach too is not flawless, as various capitalist economies of the world today are struggling for their survival. The middle path between the two extremes lies in corporate governance. And the best example of corporate governance can be derived from India. In corporate governance, all the stakeholders will have a say in business. It will try to balance the shareholders' urge to have maximum profit, customers' desire to maximize their utility in given price. There is risk. There is risk in business. Everyone tries to maximize his value. It needs to balance the things. Lack of trust suffers growth and makes people to suffer. The nomenclature of international business is drastically changing with the falling of restrictive walls. I will not be taking much of my time conveying you about changing business scenario and corporate culture and all these things. But here I am today to extend my warm welcome to my students first, to foreign students. We believe in Sarvadharma Sambhav. Everything, every religion is possible in this land. We have respect for foreigners. They have always come and lived here, assimilated here, and have been a part of our deliberations. I extend my welcome. I extend my welcome to all the dignitaries. Good students mean good faculties. I extend my heartfelt respect to my faculty members and all other faculty members present here. They are a part, and it is because of them that things have solemnized this way. I extend my heartfelt feelings to all the trust members, even if they are not here. It is because of their support, it's because of their ruthless to have new things in the institution, in the society. That's why we are here. And above all, I would like to extend my heartfelt respects to the chief guest, which is likely to come in a short while. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. Before I request R.K. Chaudhary sir to please speak to you, let me convey my gratitude to BMC Advisors, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Union Bank of India, Power Finance Corporation of India, Nijavan Group of Companies, and Tomo and Young Hospitech companies who have sponsored the event today. A big round of applause to all the sponsors, please. Now I request R.K. Chaudhary sir to please come and address the gathering.
Very good morning to all. Respected Sri Nandkishore Garg Sahab, founder, member of this society, other dignitaries, learned person sitting on dais, and very well disciplined student of this university. This international conference today on the corporate governance. Corporate governance definition well defined by and well spoken by Sri Bhatt Sahab. I have a very short time. I have to move to some attend other meeting. So I would like to say in short that corporate governance should be a good governance with a very well taking care of all the stakeholders, shareholders, and their employees. So the rules and regulation should be very transparent and should be adherent to the corporate governance with all the stakeholders and shareholders. I thank you very much for calling me this conference today, but I am having a very short time, so I have to leave. शायद इसीलिए मुझे जल्दी से इम्प्रूव करके मौका दिया है 10 मिनट बोलने का. मेरी और भी आज बहुत सारी मीटिंग है वेब कॉन्फ्रेंस से, सो मुझे छोड़ना पड़ेगा, लेकिन कल अगर मुझे समय मिला तो ज़रूर मैं स्टूडेंट्स के साथ फिर से ज्वाइन करूँगा. Thank you very much for calling me. Thanks a lot.
So thank you for those words, calling for transparency in the corporate world. I request, sir, please take the momentum. May I request the chairman, sir, R.K. Chaudhary, sir? We'd like to give a small momentum as a token of respect. So thanks for taking off your time and being here with us. May I request our chairman, sir, to please present the memento. Our heartfelt gratitude. So thank you again. Another delegate who has prior commitments is Mr. Barak Ronath, and sir has requested that he would want to address and for a few minutes and then before he proceeds. Sir, you have had extensive international relationships, and I'm sure you have met policymakers and also the corporate leaders. Can you please share any of your experience with us?
Well, good morning. So first of all, thank you for the Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management for having me here today. Thank you all of you people of coming. It's a great honor to be here today. Actually, I only came to India 2 weeks ago, took position as the head of foreign trade mission in the Embassy of Israel. I don't know if I'm able to contribute a lot about corporate management, but I'm very interested in sitting here and learning from the specialist that I came here today to speak in front of you guys. Maybe I will take the stand and tell you a little bit about Israeli and Indian relations and business cooperation. Israel and India has a lot of comments, both cultural, have legacy of 3,000 years of Israel and 5,000 years of India. They were both governed by the British. They are both vibrant democracies, interesting democracies, fragile democracies, just a little bit different in the size. I think that Israel, I was told, is only a quarter of Haryana and a third of the amount of population living in Delhi, the city. Israel is a very, very small country. The GDP of Israel is $300 billion, $36,000 per capita. We invest 5% of our GDP on R&D, research and development. In 1992, India has acknowledged the state of Israel. We started diplomatic relationships. The trade back then in 1992 was approximately $200 million. Today, the joint trade between the countries, our countries, is $4 billion. And we're hoping that in the near future we will sign a foreign trade agreement, a free trade agreement that would allow us to even increase the commercial cooperation. Our main focus topics of trade and commerce is in chemicals, health, telecommunication, agriculture. We have like 26 centers of excellence here in India. We deal with diamonds, of course security. Israel is well known of security capabilities. Something that you guys might don't know is that Israel is 60% desert. The rainfall in Israel on average is lower than the rainfall in Rajasthan, which I've heard is fairly low. But through academy and research, we managed to become, we managed to solve our water problem, water issues, and we had a lot of those. I was raised learning to save water, even to not drink too much in order to preserve water. So we share this crisis of water management. We recycle 80% of our wastewater these days. We have a giant desalination plants that allow us to preserve waters and without using natural resources today, less and less. We managed to overcome our water crisis that we had in the past 3 decades, and today we are even exporting water to the Palestinian Authority, to the Jordanian, and hopefully one day, if there will be peace with Syria and Lebanon, we most likely going to export water to them too. So hopefully we will see a greater collaboration between our states in the future. That's all I have to say to you guys today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barak Ronath comes from that part of the world which gave the world Jesus Christ, the message of forgiveness. And it is an honor to have you, sir. And it was very nice to listen to the various geographical features of Israel. And we are unfortunately at a stage of economic development where everything is seen in terms of big country having a big GDP and a small country having a small GDP. But the priceless gift of Israel, giving forgiveness through Jesus Christ, is something that the whole world values, and we are very happy that you were with us today, sir. And may I request Enki Garg sir to please present a memento. So we look forward for you coming to the college again and again and to enhance the ties between Israel and India. And I hope that peace comes to Israel and that part of the world. So thank you. Next we have, may I request Lorraine Young ma'am, who's been working in hospitality and in event management industry and hospitality industry, especially in hospitality industry, trust is a very important factor. And corporate governance is related to trust. And with her years of experience in hospitality sector, I'm sure ma'am is going to tell us about the value of corporate governance. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you all today. I'm going to speak slowly because I have an Australian accent, and I hope you're going to understand me. So we're going to talk about corporate governance in Australia. Corporate governance is a phenomenon which is being recognised not only in India but globally. Australia is also following the corporate governance norms very strictly in formulating the law and system for the functioning of companies. Nowadays, we hear about a lot of corporate scams worldwide. It has become essential for all of us to strictly adhere to the principles of corporate governance formulated worldwide for the better future of the country and people living therein. In the lines of corporate governance in India, I have made an attempt to make a brief presentation for all of you on the corporate governance principles followed in Australia. Let's have a look at the salient features of the same. We had a PowerPoint. Corporate governance in Australia. The phase corporate governance describes the framework of rules, relationships, systems, and processes within and by which authority is exercised and controlled with the companies. It encompasses the mechanisms by which companies and those in control are held to account. Good corporate governance promotes investors' confidence, which is crucial to the ability of entities listed on the Australian Stock Exchange to compete for capital. Good corporate governance promotes investors' confidence, which is crucial to the ability of entities listed on the Australian Stock Exchange to compete for capital. Sorry, I already said that before. Good corporate governance structures encourage companies to create value and provide accountability and control systems comparable to the risks involved. How is good corporate governance achieved? There is no single model of good corporate governance. The Australian Stock Exchange Corporate Governance Council has recommended 8 core principles that underlie good corporate governance. These principles are of equal importance. Their adoption is not mandatory. Why is it important to Australia? Corporate governance structures and practices continue to be important in determining the cost of capital in global capital market. Australian companies must be equipped to compete globally and to maintain and promote investor confidence both in Australia and overseas. However, it is important to intermittently review those practices to ensure they continue to reflect local, international developments and promote high standards of transparency about the company's governance practices of listed entities. Essentials of corporate governance principles. Lay solid foundations for management and oversight. A listed entity should establish and disclose the respective roles and responsibilities of its board and management and how their performance is monitored and evaluated. Companies should establish the functions reserved to the board and those delegated to senior executives and disclose those functions. Companies should disclose the process for evaluating the performance of senior executives. Structure to the board to add value. A listed entity should have a board of appropriate size, composition, skills, commitment to enable it to discharge its duties effectively. A majority of the board should be independent directors. The chair should be an independent director. The role of chair and chief executive officer should not be exercised by the same individual. The board should establish a nomination committee. Promote ethical and responsible decision-making. A listed entity should act ethically and responsibly. Companies should establish a code of conduct and disclose the code of a summary of code as to the practices necessary to maintain confidence in the company's integrity. Practices necessary to take into account their legal obligations and reasonable expectations of their stakeholders. The responsibility and accountability of individuals for reporting and investigating reports of unethical practices. Companies should disclose in each annual report the proportion of women employees in the whole organization, women in senior executive positions, and women on the board. Companies should disclose in each annual report the measurable objectives for achieving gender diversity set by the board for accordance with a diversity policy and progress towards achieving them. Safeguard integrity in financial reporting. A listed entity should have formal, rigorous processes that independently verify and safeguard the integrity of the corporate reporting. The board should establish an audit committee. The audit committee should be structured so that it consists only of non-executive directors, consists of a majority of independent directors, is chaired by an independent chair who is not chair of the board, has at least 3 members. Make timely and balanced disclosure. A listed entity should make timely and balanced disclosure of all matters concerning it that a reasonable person should expect to have material effect on the price or value of its securities. Companies should establish written policies designed to ensure compliance with Australian Stock Exchange listing rule disclosure. Requirement to ensure accountability at a senior executive level for the compliance and disclose those policies or a summary of those policies. Respect the rights of the shareholders. A listed entity should respect the rights of its security holders by providing them with appropriate information and facilities to allow them to exercise those rights effectively. Companies should design a communication policy for promoting effective communication with shareholders and encouraging their participation at general meetings and disclose their policy or a summary of that policy. Recognize and manage risk. A listed entity should establish a sound risk management framework and intermittently review the effectiveness of the framework. Companies should design a communication policy for promoting effective communication with the shareholders and encouraging their participation at general meetings and disclose their policy or a summary of that policy. The board should require management to design and implement the risk management and internal control system to manage the company's material business risks and to report it on whether those risks are being managed effectively. The board should disclose that management has reported to it as to the effectiveness of the company's management of its material business risks. Remunerate fairly and responsibly. A listed entity should pay directors remuneration sufficient to attract and retain high-quality directors and design its executive remuneration to attract, retain and motivate high-quality senior executives and to align their interests with the creation of value for security holders. The board should establish a remuneration committee. The remuneration committee should be structured so that it consists of a majority of independent directors, is chaired by an independent chair, has at least 3 members. Companies should clearly distinguish the structure of non-executive directors' remuneration from that of executive directors and senior executives. Comparisons between India and Australia with respect to company law and governance. Legislation. Australia companies are governed under Corporation Act 2001, amended from time to time, listing rules, corporate governance principles and recommendations, comply or explain basic and prudential standards. In India, Companies are governed by Company Act of 2013. Composition of law, Australia, 5 volumes, 10 chapters, 1,471 sections are constituted under the Corporation Act of 2001. Public companies, Australia, 3 directors, out of whom 2 directors must be Australian residents. India, minimum of 3 directors, out of whom 1 at least director must be a resident in India. And as small companies, Australia, classified on the basis of share capital and gross assets, example, share capital shall not exceed $25 million to be a small proprietary company. India, classified on the basis of a share capital turnover, example, share capital shall not exceed rupees 50 lakh to be called a small company. Rotation of auditors, Australia, a person engaged in auditing cannot provide audit services for a particular client for more than 5 out of 7 financial years. A gap of 2 years is required after the auditor is involved in the audit for 5 successive years. India, and an individual auditor can have 1 term of 5 years in an audit firm, can have 2 consecutive terms of 5 years. There comes mandatory cooling off period of 5 years. Independent directors and chairman of the company, Australia, the trend is to have 1/3 of number of directors on its board as independent, non-executive directors with a minimum of 2 independent directors. Chairman of the company to be an independent director. If not, then there has to be a lead independent director. India, 1/3 of number of directors shall be independent directors. There is no such requirement for chairman to be an independent director. Nomination, Remuneration Committee, Australia. Remuneration Committee consists of a majority of independent directors with chairman to be an independent director. India shall consist of 3 or more non-executive directors with not less than half as independent directors. Chairman of the company shall not act as chairman of the committee. Stakeholders Relationship Committee, Australia, is nil. India, the board of directors of a company which consists of more than 1,000 shareholders, debt shareholders, deposit holders, any other security holders at any time during a financial year shall constitute a stakeholders relation committee consisting of the chairperson, non-executive director, and such other members as may be decided by the board. I hope I've given you all enough information. Thank you.